K300 class. I was really glad to see a lot of you during our progress check this week. It gave me a lot of good stuff to go off of to help us in these videos. So the first thing I want to go over is some of our basics that we've been working on. And I'm going to start with the two stances that the purple black belts have been working on. So the first one is going to be the wide hourglass stance, and there's a couple things I want to make sure that we know with that. So if I start with my hands and feet together, if you can see, I'm using this spot right here on the mat. And when I step into a wide hourglass stance, it's like I'm in a horse stance. So just make a horse stance, but then you're gonna step it on a 45-degree angle. So both knees have to be bent the same amount. And then all I do is turn my upper body so it's a little wider. Sometimes if we rotate too much and this knee goes straight, it's no longer a wide hourglass stance. It actually becomes the half moon stance. So make sure the wide hourglass stance is a horse stance on an angle. So take some time on that when you're at home practice. Make sure that your stance is on that angle, it's wide enough. And again, a good way to practice it is just to make a horse stance and then take that and then just take it, move it on an angle. That's your wide hourglass stance. Then to step forward, I'll pull in, and then same thing, I aim on the 45 and I make a big horse stance. Make sure the knees are the same weight, so 50-50 on both of them for the wide hourglass stance. And then the half moon stance, we all did pretty good. A lot of us were actually doing the half moon stance for our wide hourglass stance, so just keep an eye on that. But of course, for the half moon stance, I'd pull through the middle and I'd be here. So front foot's on an angle, back leg is pretty much straight, knees are squeezed in. Belt is forward, opposed to, instead of like that wide hourglass we just did, where it was to the side, half moon stance is straight forward. So I turn the front foot on the ball of the foot like you're digging something in and around. So keep an eye on those. For the forearm sweeping block, when we start here, we're all doing a nice job blocking the face, but please notice the angle that my arm is at. My arm is a 90-degree angle. All it is that my body is just rotated back for that because we're expanding for blocking. So take a lot of these a little slower, that way you can check all the finishing points of it. I want to make sure that my wrist is straight when I do it, rotating the hand to the side, 90-degree angle with the arm. These are important details to get in there for right now. For the corkscrew punch, making sure that, I'm just going to do a couple slow, and I think a lot of us should be working on that at home a little bit too. But I punch slow, and then it's not my fist going, it's my elbow coming back. So this is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the fist turning over to the side, and then this is the elbow pulling back. So instead, don't think about the hand turning over, bringing the elbow back to you as you do that. So I punch and then elbow. So not this, it's a punch, and then, so it's a regular punch, and then turn it over. So a good thing to just practice is just to rotate and slow, punch, and then elbow back. So again, just straight punch forward, elbow back. You can do that on the other side. Straight punch and then elbow. Straight punch, elbow. It's very easy to try to just get this right away, but it's because there's so many things going on in there. Take your time, make sure it looks good for you. Make sure, again, you're rotating into your target and then bringing it back with you. That's a good way to look at that one. Those are the big things that I saw on the basics that I think we could all work on. For our third cube brown belts that I did get a chance to see, take your time on these scooping blocks and really the stance more than anything. So without the hands, you can just practice stepping in a forward stance to the side and then switching to the next one. I want to make sure that foot that I step back with, I step back just enough where I'd be in a forward stance. A lot of us that I got a chance to work with, we realized that we were stepping too far as we went back. So just having the hands on the hips and taking your time and moving, and eventually when you get a good rhythm on that stepping and a good width to it, then you can try to start keeping the eyes forward as you do that. And then once you have that, start adding those scoops in there. Now, kata-wise, for CSUN, to go through the beginning, and this will be a chance for us to start working on the beginning anyway. So I'm in my yoi, heels together, toes apart. Inhale, slow. This is all slow. And right here, this is a wide hourglass stance. Then from there, I rotate, and it's that corkscrew punch, but I'm gonna do it slow so we have it. Punch, twist. Turn the front foot in, and then on the angle, because I gotta make that horse stance. Horse stance on an angle. Punch, back. Turn the foot in, step out, another wide, big horse stance on the angle. Punch, twist. So watch that. And then for the ending of the kata, I step back. So I'm on my 9 p.m. block. So from here, I reach slow, crescent kick, regular punch. From there, cat stance as the hands go up. So if I turn sideways so you can see that when the left leg, I'm mirroring it, but when that left leg pulls back, I gotta make sure I'm in a cat stance. Some of us were starting here. So to show you that again, I reach, crescent kick, punch and ki, and then I shoot the hips back, cat stance, and then slow, and then on the last move, the hands come in and break, and then I'd step up. So I'll do that the regular way now. I'll face the side to do it. So I reach, crescent kick, punch and ki, then I shoot back, cat stance, and this is pushing out in front of you. Emphasize the heel of the hands going out. Then slow, when it gets halfway, I pull it in, and this is where the hands are connecting. If I get a little closer so you can see that right there. So to mirror it for you, it would be this. Once I get there and I finish it, I step the front leg back, up, and right. And then the last thing to go over, anyone that's doing an Ahanchi kata watching these videos, just to practice at home, find a, like it could be a line in the sidewalk or, you know, whatever you have, but I'll line my feet up on those lines. And in the Ahanchi kata, when you're switching and going different ways, I gotta make sure that even though I'm switching my feet, if you notice, my hips are still to the front. Sometimes we start to cross too much and we do this. So just, you could put the hands behind the back and just practice crossing, stepping, crossing, stepping. So you gotta be able to keep the body pointing forward at all times. You can also try to stay low if you want. Eventually you can add that knee lift. But these are really good fundamentals that we're going to need to get more out of these katas. So I hope that gave you some stuff to think about. If I've worked with you so far this week, again, I'm really happy with our progress so far. Let's keep moving forward.